I was browsing Amazon recently and I came across this, and immediately I knew I had to have it. I didn't even know what it did, but it triggered something in my primitive brain that said, whoa, big machine, lots of buttons. So of course I ordered it immediately. In reality, it's a cable tester, and for the most part they're audio cables, but it also tests some other ones like USB and even RJ45 and HDMI. I will give a more detailed overview at the table, show you how it works and stuff, but some more info about it costs about $60. And of course, I will put a link in the description if you want to get one for yourself. I believe there's other models that don't test quite as many cables, but are probably cheaper, so you can look up those too. So yeah, why don't we go over to the table and I'll show you exactly how this works and some examples, and let me know if you want me to do more of these product spotlight type things. This is not sponsored, of course, in any way. I would always say if it was, but yeah, I have lots of cool junk hanging around and never really thought about making a whole video about one thing, but this just does so much that I figured it would. So let's get into it. All right, so I have this absolute unit of a device and a bunch of cables that I can test with it and show you. I'm not going to do every single one because I don't have some of the cables, but I have most of them. Real quick, I can show you how it works with a simple example, like a 3.5 millimeter audio jack. So if I plug it into both sides of the jack, you can see that it lights up, and the bottom light corresponds to the left side and the right side goes to the top row. And basically you turn it, and if there's a connection, it'll show on both rows. And the fact that they are lined up directly above each other simply means that the same part of the wire on the left side corresponds to the same part on the right side. If they were miswired or switched in there, then there would be different lights on each row lit up. And I'll show you an example of that. First, I'll go over some other basic examples though. Here's an example with RJ45, so it's not just audio cables. If we plug that into both, you can see that this cable apparently is wired correctly. Interestingly, it can also do USB, and there's USB A, B, and on the top, there's actually micro USB. I might have to show another shot to focus that, but this actually legitimately helped me out because I tested two types of cables here, and I'm going to show you the difference. So I'll plug the micro into the top here, and then I'll plug the A into the other side, and you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the back, you'll actually notice it says for USB A and B that there should be 4 lights lighting up. But what I found when I did this cable, we plug it in here, same way. This one lights up, these two don't, and then the fourth do. And that helped me realize that this cable is a non-data cable. It's a charging-only cable. I hate these things. You cannot tell just by looking at the plugs because it appears to have all the 4 pins, but they're just not connected. So this thing actually helped me already. I'm going to throw this cable in the trash. Just for fun, I can show you this USB-B connection. And you can see all 4 are connected on this one like it should be. And one thing that's really cool is you don't have to necessarily plug the same type of cable into each side. So you can use cables that are adapters. So take this cable, for example. This is a 3.5 millimeter and it splits off into mono. And there's an RCA jack on the side here. So let me plug the right side, the red one, into here, and then we'll plug the 3.5 into the jack on the right side. And we can see that they line up, but if you're not really sure which pin actually goes to which channel, conveniently on the back side, it actually tells you that. So we can see that for 3.5 jack, the first channel is the sleeve, the second channel is the tip, and the third channel is the ring. And you can see that both line up on the top, and if we switch over, it actually connects to a different one that's not vertical. But if we unplug this one and plug in the other channel, we can see now that the middle one, they do line up. That doesn't mean it's miswired. It's just because I'm splitting up the mono and stereo. But basically, in this case, all it's saying is that for each of these, it's connected to a different part of the 3.5 millimeter jack. So I think this one goes to the middle ring and the other one goes to the tip. I might have mixed that up, but that's what this shows. And that's just an example of a cable with 2 types of ends working. Here's an interesting case with HDMI, and this one actually works a little bit differently. Let me show you. So you'll notice if you go through all of these, you can actually press this button at the top. It says HDMI test switch, and it turns red, and you can go through these again. And that's because the HDMI cable has too many connections for just one set of the 10. So it actually has 19. So that's why you press it, and then this tests the other
10, or 9. It doesn't go to the final 10 one. It just 1 through 19. Why don't I show you some of these on the side? So these are a bunch of audio cables. I only recognize a couple of them, like XLR. And you can see how it's the other type on this side. So these are like the male, and then these would be the female sides of the cable. And that's because with the XLR cables, they also have 2 different types of ends. So this one would go into here, and you can see how it says XLR 3-pin. If we put it into this side, now we can go through, and all 3 connect. Here's another real-world use case I used actually right before recording this video. I wanted to connect a microphone into the camera. I ended up doing it differently, but I had these 3 different adapters that look very similar. These are all 3.5 millimeter to XLR female adapters here, but these are all actually wired differently. This one happens to have a little thing that says pin too hot on it, but these other ones don't, so I wasn't sure if these 2 were the same or whatever. So why don't we see what happens when we do a test with these. So for this one, I'll plug the 315 into this side, and we can see that this one is wired this way. I'm not going to look too much more into it. I just wanted to see if they were the same or not. So that's what that one looks like. We can try this one, which again looks the same. This one is different. These all line up vertically, different than the last one. And then there's this third one. This one, first one's line up vertically. Second one, there's no connection at all. And the third one does this. So I'm going to have to definitely look into what these cables do exactly, and probably maybe put a label on them so I understand next time. Because I think in the past, usually I end up just literally trial and error to see which one works with the microphone. As a final example, you guys may be familiar with this kind of audio cable, and these plug in this way. Those plug in like that, and you can see they all connect. As for the ones I didn't have examples of, we have this small DIN one. It kind of looks like an S-Video. Here's what we have on the side. We have this big kind of audio connection, a RCA, so this is like the old style. Most of these I'm not familiar with, but I do know XLR. We can look at that one. And then if you look on the flip side, it's just the male versions of those same plugs, at least in most cases. Like these are the same, they're both female, and then some of these are male where the other one isn't. Still, you can see that it supports probably most things that most people are going to come across. Here's the back. It might look kind of complicated, but it's really not when you understand what it is. It literally just tells you how many lights or connections there should be for each type of cable. So that can be helpful if you're plugging it in and you see no connection. You can see whether actually it's missing or it's just not a connection that's supposed to be there. And it also helps with adapters like we saw with this one. It shows you which parts of the 3.5 millimeter jack go to which of these plugs for each of those adapters. And you can see that there's 3 for each. So then it shows you how they connect. So really cool device. I like this thing. It's got nice ka-chunk switches. These are my favorite, and it feels really sturdy. I looked at this thing. I just had to have it. I don't know why. It just looks cool. And actually, it has come in handy already.
So yeah, hopefully you found it pretty cool. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Again, are you going to consider buying one of these things? We could talk about that down in the comments. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a big giant thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. It always helps. And if you want to subscribe, I try to make videos usually twice a week, Wednesday and Saturday. If you want to keep watching, the next video I'd recommend is where I talked about a weird headphone jack that I found on plain headphones and why they look like that. So I'll put that link right there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.